Welcome. It seems you found your way to this rather fascinating corner of existence where stories intertwine with the very fabric of reality. Welcome to our deep dive into Norse mythology. I must confess these tales hold a certain resonance for me, a delightful echo of chaos and grandeur. They speak of worlds beyond your comprehension, of gods and their magnificent, terrifying counterparts. And it is these counterparts, these glorious monstrosities, that we shall turn our gaze towards today. Today, we'll explore three of the most powerful and fearsome monsters from these ancient tales. Creatures born of shadow and prophecy, whose very names could chill the blood of Asgard's finest. We shall speak of a wolf whose hunger knows no bounds, a serpent that binds the world, and a dragon that gnaws at the roots of existence itself. These are not mere beasts, you understand. They are forces of nature, embodiments of primal fears and inevitable fates. So prepare yourselves. Open your minds to the chilling sagas of a bygone era, to the roars and hisses that once echoed through the 9 realms. We are about to venture into the darkness, to understand the beings that even the gods learn to dread. It's a journey that promises to be, shall we say, enlightening, or perhaps delightfully unsettling. Let us begin, shall we? Our first subject, then, is a creature of truly monumental legend, a being whose story is intrinsically woven with the fate of the gods themselves. I speak, of course, of Fenrir, born of a rather unconventional union. My own, as it happens, with the giantess Angrboda Fenrir was no mere pup. He was a wolf of prodigious size and strength, growing at a rate that struck unease, then outright terror, into the hearts of the Aesir. They saw in his eyes a reflection of a doom they desperately wished to avoid, a shadow lengthening over their golden halls. The Norns, those weavers of fate, had whispered a chilling prophecy. Fenrir was destined to be the end of Odin, the All-Father himself. Imagine the consternation in Asgard. The king of the gods, fated to fall to this burgeoning power. Naturally, the gods, in their infinite wisdom, or perhaps their infinite fear, decided that such a threat could not be allowed to roam free. Their attempts to bind him began as almost a game, a test of his strength, but soon escalated into desperate measures as each chain, each mighty fetter was shattered by Fenrir's burgeoning might. He was, quite simply, too strong, too wild. Their desperation led them to the Svartalfar, the Dark Elves. Masters of subtle and potent enchantments, they commissioned a restraint unlike any other, a ribbon, seemingly delicate, named Gleipnir. It was crafted from the most impossible things: the sound of a cat's footfall, the beard of a woman, the roots of a mountain, the sinews of a bear, the breath of a fish, and the spittle of a bird. These ephemeral concepts, woven together, formed a bond stronger than any iron, a testament to the power of magic over brute force. It was presented to Fenrir as yet another challenge, a silken trifle. But Fenrir, for all his ferocity, was no fool. He sensed deceit, a trickery that mirrored, dare I say, some of my own proclivities. He agreed to be bound by Gleipnir only if one of the gods would place their hand in his mouth as a pledge of good faith, a guarantee that this was no trap. Only Tyr, the god of war and justice, possessed the courage, or perhaps the noble foolishness, to accept this grim bargain. As Gleipnir tightened and Fenrir realized he was truly ensnared, his mighty jaws snapped shut, severing Tyr's hand. A high price for containing such power, wouldn't you agree? Thus bound, Fenrir lay chained, a seething embodiment of rage and betrayal, a sword propping his jaws agape to silence his howls, saliva drooling forth to form a river named Van, or expectation. But chains, even magical ones, can fray, and prophecies, alas, have a stubborn way of fulfilling themselves. When the trumpets of Ragnarök, the twilight of the gods, finally blared, Fenrir would shatter his bonds. He would storm the battlefield, his hunger a gaping maw, and seek out Odin, fulfilling that ancient, terrible destiny. He would devour the All-Father, plunging the world into chaos, a truly spectacular end. Next, we turn our attention to another of my progeny, a sibling to Fenrir, equally formidable, though his domain was not the land, but the vast, uncharted oceans. I speak of Jörmungandr, the Midgard serpent. Like Fenrir, he was born of myself and Angrboda, and like Fenrir, he inspired a profound dread in the gods. Odin, ever proactive when it came to potential threats, particularly those linked to me, cast the young serpent into the great ocean that encircles Midgard, the realm of mortals, a rather dramatic gesture, I always thought. But Jörmungandr grew and grew. and grew. He grew so immense that his colossal body could encircle the entirety of Midgard, his fanged maw grasping his own tail. An Ouroboros of terrifying proportions, a living, breathing boundary to the world of men, a constant, slithering reminder of the primal chaos lurking just beyond the shores of the known. His very existence was a testament to the untamable aspects of creation, a creature too vast to be truly comprehended, let alone controlled by the Aesir, despite their best efforts to impose order upon the cosmos. His movements within the deep were not without consequence. When Jörmungandr stirred, the earth itself would tremble, giving rise to catastrophic earthquakes. When he thrashed in the abyssal depths, mighty storms would rage across the seas, a physical manifestation of his immense power and perhaps his resentment at being confined to the watery darkness. He was a force of nature personified, a constant, brooding presence, the very breath of the ocean depths given monstrous form. His venom, it was said, was the most potent poison in all the 9 realms, capable of felling even a god. There is a rather famous or infamous tale involving Jörmungandr and my thunderous acquaintance Thor. Driven by his characteristic bravado, Thor once went on a fishing expedition with the giant Hymir, using the head of an ox as bait, determined to drag the world serpent from the depths. He succeeded for a moment in hooking the beast. The ensuing struggle was titanic. Thor's divine strength pitted against the serpent's primal might, the very foundations of the world groaning under the strain. Just as Thor was about to deliver a killing blow with Mjolnir, the terrified Hymir cut the line, and Jörmungandr sank back into the abyss, their fated confrontation merely postponed. That confrontation, however, was inevitable, destined for the battlefield of Ragnarök. As the world unraveled, Jörmungandr would rise from the sea, spewing his venom across the sky and water to face Thor in a final cataclysmic duel. Thor, the champion of Midgard, would indeed slay the serpent, his mighty hammer crushing its skull. But in his moment of triumph, Thor would stagger back, drenched in Jörmungandr's lethal poison. And after taking 9 paces, a significant number you'll find in these old tales, he too would fall. A tragic hero meeting his doom at the hands of his greatest foe, a truly dramatic exit for them both. Chapter 3. Our final monstrous entity is one of a different yet equally insidious nature. This creature does not typically engage in direct cataclysmic battles with the gods on the fields of war, but its work is no less destructive, no less vital to the cosmic narrative. I speak of Nidhogg, the malice striker, a dreadful dragon, or perhaps a serpent of immense power, whose existence is dedicated to a slow, relentless act of cosmic vandalism. He dwells in the grim depths of Niflheim, the primordial realm of ice and mist, the land of the dishonorable dead. There, at the very roots of Yggdrasil, the world tree that binds the 9 realms together, Nidhogg endlessly gnaws. This is not a mindless act of hunger. It is a persistent, malevolent effort to undermine the very foundation of existence. Yggdrasil is the pillar of the cosmos, and Nidhogg's constant chewing weakens it, introducing decay and instability into the grand structure. Furthermore, it is said that Nidhogg feasts upon the corpses of the wicked, those who were murderers, adulterers, and oath-breakers, finding sustenance in the darkness of human souls, a grim sentinel of the underworld. Nidhogg's role is deeply symbolic, representing the forces of entropy and destruction that perpetually work against creation and order. While gods like Odin strive to maintain the cosmos, Nidhogg embodies the inevitable decay, the slow rot from beneath that threatens even the most magnificent structures. He is a reminder that nothing is permanent, that even the world tree itself is subject to the ravages of time and malice. His presence is a constant pressure, a dark undercurrent in the symphony of the 9 realms, a shadow beneath the branches. An interesting and rather telling aspect of Nidhogg's existence is his perpetual feud with the wise eagle, sometimes unnamed, sometimes Hreisvelgr, perched at the very top of Yggdrasil. These 2 beings, one at the crown of creation and the other at its decaying roots, are locked in an eternal conflict of insults and disdain. Their messages of animosity are ferried up and down the trunk of the world tree by a rather mischievous squirrel named Ratatoska, who delights in stirring trouble and fueling their mutual hatred. A cosmic drama played out through gossip and ill will. What becomes of Nidhogg during and after Ragnarök is a matter of some debate in the ancient texts. Some say he rises with the dead, flying over the battlefield, a harbinger of ultimate doom. Others suggest that even after the world's renewal, Nidhogg continues his task, a reminder that the cycle of creation and destruction is eternal, that even in a reborn world, the seeds of decay will always remain. He is the darkness that endures, a chilling testament to the persistence of malice gnawing away forever and ever, a truly dedicated creature, one must admit. And so, our exploration of these magnificent, terrifying beings concludes, for now. We have peered into the abyss and seen the faces of Fenrir, Jörmungandr and Nidhogg, creatures that embody the raw, untamed forces that challenge order and define heroism through the very act of opposing them. Thanks for joining us on this journey through Norse mythology. These are more than mere monsters. They are essential threads in the rich tapestry of these ancient stories, reflecting the anxieties and aspirations of a world long past. Their tales, filled with prophecy, betrayal, and epic conflict, remind us that even in the grandest cosmic dramas, there are elements of, shall we say, relatable chaos. The fear of the unknown, the struggle against inevitable fate, the destructive potential that lies within and without, these are themes that resonate even now, wouldn't you agree? These monsters, in their fearsome glory, give shape to the shadows that dance at the edges of our understanding, and there is a certain beauty in that, a terrible symmetry. I trust you found this excursion stimulating. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more mythological tales and legends. There are, after all, so many more stories to tell, so many other fascinating beings lurking in the shadows of myth, awaiting their moment in the flickering light of our curiosity. Until then, tread carefully and perhaps keep an eye on the shadows. You never know what might be looking back. Farewell.